In this episode, it feels like a flashback as we get another duel between Swirly and Otis. Hey there, my name is Rex, episode 81 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. We're starting things off, going right into the rest of this, the last bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. And, I'm liking, the tone does feel a lot different. It feels a little more serious as Yuga's going to school, interacts with both Roman and Gakuto, and they have no recollection of him or what happened. And we also get a bit of a glimpse at some other characters. For one thing, we see Asana as she forgot everything about Rush Duels, the whole thing that happened, and is upset when she sees R6 with all these modifications. And Nail has returned to Goha, working at Goha. So there's that at least. But the only people who remember anything, of course, from like the main core group are Luke and Yuga. They do also have Ronza and Renosuke to help them out because they didn't lose their memories as well. So it's up to them. The Goha presidents are all busy with just swamped with all the chaos that's happening, and it's of course all coming from Swirly. So again, I like the kind of a different tone that we're going here because yes, things definitely are more serious. We have a bit more of a serious villain, got some actual high stakes as you got to get the memories back of all their friends. Because otherwise they're just not the same. They're not even really friends with Yuga and Luke even because they really became friends with them from the whole situation that happened with the live install of Rush Duels, back in episode 1. So that's kind of interesting and kind of sad seeing them. And of course Kaizo's all beat up about it because Roman doesn't remember him. So their solution is to print more Monster Reborns because they don't have any. Apparently Yuga had taken them. Swirly had taken them. Because, I was thinking, because didn't Yuo actually still have one with him? But I guess he doesn't anymore. So they head down to the printer. And at this point, their broadcaster, they're sent a live video of Swirly. He's like, hey, check it out. I'm about to duel Otis. And so, an interesting thing is that Swirly effectively, he lays it out that he thinks that he knows Otis's plan, the whole idea of giving duels back to children, rather than adults, and kind of a theme that was touched on back in the last episode, right? The recap with why, or at least why Mimi suspected that all the Goha siblings were chosen as the next president. So that's kind of neat. So if that does end up being kind of like the narrative thing going on, then because I think that's like kind of basically the thesis of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens at least, or at least some of the core to it. And an interesting thing, of course, he's telling Otis, he's like, I know everything you did, even trying to uninstall them, that just made them stronger and everything. So I mean, he's got a better understanding, I guess, of Otis, because, I think, I still don't know. But, I mean, I guess he's on the side of the protagonist, I suppose. But Otis does show up and the duel begins, and so that's the main duel. And, it's a pretty interesting duel because, even though on Otis's first turn he does relatively simple things, summoning Dark Magician, sending cards, ending, and then on to Swirly's, he does sort of a basic thing where he summons his boss monster, the Ecdysis Caligulon, as well as another monster, and ends up pumping it up to a few more attack points. It is really interesting as he really wants to destroy Dark Magician because Otis is trying to make sure Dark Magician doesn't get destroyed because he knows that Monster Reborn apparently is most effective when you use it on the opponent's boss monster in terms of like wiping memories. So that's kind of neat, kind of interesting. On one hand, I guess that could explain why Luke's memories didn't get erased. But at the same time, I think they're trying to set something differently up for that. Because otherwise, I think Yuga or Swirly would have known that because, but otherwise Swirly is still suspicious of Luke. But otherwise, I think that would have been that would have made sense because, it wasn't his boss monster, but at the same time, it affected everybody else around them. So we'll see what's up with Luke. But during this duel, it is really neat to see, some of the cards that Otis is using. He has basically Rush Duel versions of older cards like magical hats, but this is, a different version of it where he can return Dark Magician to his hand and then summon 3 monsters face down defense position. Dark Magician being one of them. And even when Swirly guesses correctly and is about to attack that Dark Magician with piercing damage from an effect, Otis has another trap card that resembles Mystic Box kind of, but in a different way. He can switch the monsters and have another one be destroyed instead. So it's kind of neat to see that. But the other monster he summons that doesn't get destroyed is Dark Magician Girl. So going into his turn, he has both Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl on the field. and with a spell card, he's able to pump up Dark Magician as well, and to, you know, high attack points. And with both of them, attacks his monsters, and you know, destroys one of them too with a spell card. Leaves Swirly at 100 life points. And so now going into Swirly's turn, he does get the Monster Reborn, and like I said, you know, it's not just a typical duel. It's not just a thing of like, oh, you know, I need to beat you, or oh, you know, he also has to activate Monster Reborn in order to beat him while that's going on. And on top of that, he's specifically trying to use Monster Reborn on Dark Magician. So it just adds like a little more to a duel, like more layers to it than usual. So I think that's kind of neat to see, though. However, though, he does end up getting Dark Magician into the grave, Monster Reborning it, and then using it to attack directly, or not attack directly, but attack over Dark Magician Girl through a card that made its attack point 0, and he wins. You know, on one hand, I really kind of wanted something to come back with the whole, like, because remember, you know, even though this is evil Goha Yuga, it's still Swirly, and Swirly had that moment with Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl way back when, and again, I think that was a great episode despite it not really having a duel, that old one there. Because, you know, I like this guy, he's a great villain, but I miss Swirly. So I thought maybe we'd have some kind of moment like that, maybe hesitation in a way, or maybe, you know, he remembers that, because he's got to remember everything he did as Swirly, the little baby. But, you know, we didn't really see that there. I'm wondering if, you know, maybe we'll see something like that in a few more episodes, but, you know, not necessarily for this. But Otis just gets his memories erased. He's accomplished his goal, and Otis just walks away. Doesn't reveal anything, doesn't even take off his mask, which I was expecting, you know, maybe we'll get something like that. But, you know, I'm wondering if, well, because I don't think Otis can help them too much, because, you know, a lot of his memories are gone. You know, everything related to Rush Duels. But I'm wondering if that also includes, like, a lot of the stuff in terms of, like, his whole plan to set up the thing to allow Rush Duels to be installed, if all that's been erased as well. Because, you know, his boss monster, Dark Magician, was summoned with Monster Reborn. It's real interesting. We'll have to see what exactly he knows, because otherwise, you know, if he just walks off instead of, like, disappearing back into wherever he went, then the main cast could maybe get some help from him. But, yeah. Oh, man. But I mean, it was a predictable outcome for the duel, because, you know, that's just what you would do to continue building up this villain. But it still hurts. So back in the underground with a card printer, Nanaho ends up showing up, and all their minions end up showing up to distract them. And that's neat that Ranza and Renosuke are there also, because, you know, they're cousins, and there's that connection there. But all the evil ninjas destroy the card printing machine, and even so, there's apparently just no way to get a Monster Reborn back, supposedly. And even then, you know, I like that Yuga was kind of having this moral dilemma, because even though, yes, technically Monster Reborn is the way to save everybody, he's hesitant to use it because it's, you know, or at least this cursed version of Monster Reborn, that something that can alter people's memories like that. He's hesitant to use it, which, you know, makes sense, but still at the same time, you know, you want everyone else to get their memories back, you probably should. But on top of that, Swirly just destroys the other copies of Monster Reborn that he has. So with the machine gone, and all the other existing copies gone, it's going to be... I'm wondering how exactly they'll figure it out or solve it. But of course, you know, there can always be some other way to solve this issue, so I'll see what it is. I'm kind of interested to see what they end up doing. But that's where the episode ends off. Like I said, I'm really liking the tone, really liking the more dramatic everything going on here, because, you know, even now, it's going to take them a while to either get Monster Reborn or either get some other kind of means to fix everything, or, you know, on top of that, just to continue dealing with all the ninjas and Swirly that keep attacking them. So, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how they'll wrap everything up, and hopefully everyone gets a nice happy ending. Bring back Swirly, seal him back away. But anyway, that was it for episode 81. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and you know, your thoughts also on Sevens overall ending, us being in the last arc. I did a video on Go Rush, so I've been also reading your comments on that, so that's pretty cool. But I like this episode. I've been enjoying Sevens, at least with this, you know, this final chunk here. But let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe, show your support. But anyway, this has been Rex. Have a nice day.